Hi, everybody. Happy 4th of July. I think this is a good time to reflect and think about the 4th of July in the United States and where we've been and where we're going. I can remember, I think most of us can remember when the 4th of July used to come around and we were so proud. Your chest just swelled with pride. We thought back to our forefathers, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, and these guys, they came over a couple hundred years ago, and they weren't happy with what was going on. Uh, they'd had enough of the bankers over in England. They'd had enough with the big government. They wanted to build a government that really didn't have a federal government to start with. They wanted the states, the communities, to have their own their own way of doing things. Well, they soon realized that they needed a national government, but it started out small. It wanted to be small. There weren't no income taxes. There were no social programs. You took care of your own thing, and they were able to create the foundation for a country that became the most affluent, the strongest militarily, the most moralistic, and in my opinion, the greatest country in the history of the world. And it was that way for a long time. And little by little by little, the same people that were in control in England, had been for a long time, began to take more and more and more control here. And they took so much control, they took away our pride. I don't feel the pride. I, for one, am proud to be an American. We made a lot of mistakes when we started this country. We came over here and we brought a lot of slaves, a lot of black people. But they're not slaves anymore. They're Americans now. And they're proud to be Americans. Anybody that's proud to be an American, I'm proud of them, and you should be proud of them. We had a lot of Chinese people come over here, but they're Americans. A lot of Jewish people, they're Americans. Right now, we have an awful lot of people from South America, and a lot of people are really upset with the immigration laws, and I've had my share of complaining about them. And as a matter of fact, there's even a lot of them that think that Arizona, New Mexico, Texas should actually go back to Mexico. Now, a lot of these Mexican people that have come to the United States over the past 200 years have helped build this place. But to these people that think they want to come over, take over our country, no. No. We threw you out once. We'll throw you out again. This is our country. We built this thing. The government didn't build this country. Sometimes I think that we created this country in spite of country, in spite of the government. We didn't have a whole lot of help. For 150 years. We've had very little except puppets, probably since Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. Abraham Lincoln, if you remember, he came up with the greenbacks. And guess what happened? He got assassinated. John Kennedy did the same thing 100 years later. He was getting ready to, he opposed the war in Vietnam. He didn't like the bankers, and he was going to do something about it, and he was gone. But I'm kind of getting off track. What I'm talking about is pride. Things have gone to hell in a handbasket. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. But we can fix it. We're the ones that built these things. The same blood that ran through the veins of our forefathers runs through our veins. Where we have a problem is we can't get together. We can't match. A lot of people don't like the blacks. A lot of blacks don't like the whites. A lot of people don't like the Jews. A lot of people don't like the Mexicans, the Chinese. Guys, if we don't find a way to get together, our children, our grandchildren, future generations are going to be slaves. You know, it's no secret. Those of us that are here on YouTube, they're talking. We know what's going on. They're trying to redistribute the wealth. We came over here and we built this thing, and we became affluent, and we had the highest standard of living in history. And we're watching it dissipate and go down and down and down. It's time we begin to band together. We don't need the government to do this. You know, we've got an election coming up here in about a year and a half. And for the last 100 years, it's pretty obvious who's going to get elected. Obama and his boys, they've had QE1, QE2, a couple of $1 trillion that they spent on the corporations. And they're going to spend a lot of money to see that Obama or someone just like him is reelected. Personally, I'm not going to support any of them. How long has it been since we had any president, pretty much for the most part, any elected official who wasn't part of the Democratic or the Republican Party? And what have they done for us? I'm not going to support them. I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to support the corporations anymore. I'm not going to buy my food at Walmart. I'm not going to buy anything at Walmart. I'm not going to go to Home Depot. I'm not going to go to these big corporations. I found a local independent store here. They're more expensive, but I'll pay it. I found a local hardware store, a local lumber yard. That's where I'm going to spend my money. It's an individual decision. If you don't do that, we're whooped. We're whooped. It's time that we begin to sit down and reevaluate how we're going to do this. We are the descendants of the greatest people. Something magical happened in this country, and I'm watching it being torn down. It's being torn down by design. And we sit here, and we're going to have people that are going to spend all of their zest and all their energy to elect a group of the same criminals we've been electing for 100, 150 years. Think about it. You know, YouTube, I love YouTube. I love it greatly. But nobody wants to be vulnerable. I mean, I look at the YouTube channels. Probably 60% of the people on YouTube are afraid to even put their name on YouTube. You know, I watch the comments. They'll say something like, good video. Or they'll come up with a criticism. You're a jerk. All right, so you're a jerk. You're dealing with a patriot, somebody that's sit here and spent his time and his energy to express his opinion. If you don't agree with them, that's fine. But at least have the guts to tell them why you don't agree with them. What is it? We are going to have to communicate in the way you communicate. When's the last time you went to your subscribers and you looked and you studied what they had in their favorites? What is it that you're going to find out? There's some people out there that have a lot of the same interests in you. All you got to do is go over to the personal message and write them a thing. Do you ever think about giving somebody your phone number so you could talk to them and not just write a 2 or 3 word thing? Comment? We need to think about things. We need to reorganize our priorities. We need to take a chance. You think our forefathers didn't take a chance when they came over here? A lot of them died. A lot of people have died. A lot of people have toiled for their entire lives to build this country. And we're watching these elitists in these citizens who are letting it be destroyed with their apathy. You talk about being awake. Are we really awake? You know, they say there's I think 4 different phases. If they told you you were going to die, the first thing people go through is denial. They just don't accept it. And that's where most people are at. They got their head in the sand, and they just can't accept what's going on. But then they start to wake up. It's like the first wake up in the morning, and they realize something's going wrong, and they get mad. I mean, I was angry when I first woke up. So were all of you. And you rant, you rave, nothing gets accomplished by that. Next phase you go through is bargaining. I like to call it, I'll call it bargaining. Pleading. You're pleading, you're trying to say, wait a minute, wake up. Think about it. I've watched everybody I know I've gone through, and the last phase is acceptance. And I think a large number of us have reached acceptance. We've mellowed out, and now we can start to make a chance. I'm John. You can write to me. I'm 64 years old, but if you have a good idea, if you disagree with me, I'm vulnerable. Tell me you don't like what I said, but grow some cojones. Tell me why. Tell me why you don't agree with my opinion and give me a better thing. And if you're right, I'll accept it. Anyway, it's the 4th of July. I'm proud of being American. I'm proud of every American out here. Everybody that wants to be an American, I'm proud of. And they should be proud of our country. And they should realize if you're going to, we haven't got time. We have not got the luxury of having prejudices. We've got to throw those out. That's old news. That's yesterday's news. Prejudice is a thing of the past. We're in this alone. This country is the great melting pot. Let's go back to the values. Let's look at what they did and let's rebuild this nation. And let's do this by common respect. It's an old saying. If you want respect, you have to give respect. If you want love, you have to give love. If you want compassion, you have to give compassion. We all want those things. Are you willing to give them? Are you willing to make the sacrifices to make yourself vulnerable? Everybody's always saying, what are we going to do to get back to the values of what it used to be? In my mind, it's very easy. We have to become more vulnerable. We have to take a chance. Anyway, that's my first rant on YouTube. And I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. God bless you. Have